foot.
They have to have huge feet.
They always have wide foot.
Fatfeet.com.
Yep. Let's grab a kettlebell too. Oh, yeah. If you don't wear shoes, you actually got to watch where your feet go, though.
Oh, did you already stub your toe?
Lesson 1.
Oh, I got a toe caught in this right here.
Oh no.
I did that.
Oh.
Let's grab a kettlebell too.
It doesn't take much.
Hey, you stay there. I don't want you getting hurt.
I'm missing a piece of a toenail because of that. Bam, gotta get depth.
There we go.
Load it up to 943.
Yep.
And here we go.
All right, what do we got today, Mark and Chris?
We are here at SuperTraining Gym, the strongest gym in the West, and we're here with Chris Duffin, the creator of the Duffalo Bar and Giant Fat Feet.
Mostly known for the giant fat feet, but we do a few other things besides that too.
Chris is going to show us how to squat today. He showed us a couple years ago, but I'm sure he's got some new great information that we can learn from, so here we go.
Excellent. Let's get to it. So, I was talking to you earlier, it was about prioritization. So we want to look at things in what's going to have the largest global impact first. So that is going to be our spine, and thus also breathing and bracing as it affects it, because that's how we stabilize it. And actually, a lot of people don't realize posture can affect your breathing as well. So both of you guys, go ahead and just arch back a little bit. It doesn't have to be excessive. Take a big breath and try to expand through your torso. It doesn't really work very well. Come back to neutral and do the same thing. Phil.
Yeah, you can breathe a lot more.
You can feel the difference. Like, so this position plays a big role.
Yeah,
so,
overarching, right?
Yeah. So if you're not experienced with like pelvis position or ribcage position, just walk through some extension, crunching, kind of back and forth. And what we want to find is just what's neutral, this neutral position here, okay? Our standing position. So just find that spot in the middle. Good. Excellent. So what we've got here, I want to be aware of this bottom portion of the rib cage right here and the top of the pelvis right here. We want to have these, if you imagine a line running across these, running parallel in space, or if they dissect, it's like way out there, okay? Or the opposite is them intersecting in the back if we're in a big arch position here, okay? So the reason that's important, God, I wish I had a can of Monster. I could really show you guys. You got
Oh yeah, we'll get
a can of Monster? Let's get a can of Monster. You got a can of Monster? I need 2 cans of Monster.
It's open.
That's fine.
Okay.
Because I'm going to show you. Oh, damn.
They're grabbing another one.
That's all right. I need 2 anyway. This one says Jess. She's going to like what I do with it.
These guys are fast.
Oh, man, that is fast.
Lickety split.
I still want to use Jess's Monster, though.
Cool.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Got it.
there you go. Can of Monsters. Really important. This is the bottom of the rib cage right here. This is the top of the pelvis right here. This thing is pretty fucking strong. Whoops. There we go. I could stand on that if I had better balance, or I could be like Jess is here. Okay, so we want to get these aligned. And the reason I have this, because now that I've got them aligned, we want to stabilize it. And a lot of people think that stabilizing is crunching in. And they crush this area down.
Like this. They try to lean
just
forward,
like
right?
making it smaller,
Right.
imploding everything down.
Whoa.
Oh, shit. That's what happens if you
Oh,
do
look,
that.
that's perfect.
That's not very stable. Oh, damn. So,
Son of a bitch.
what we want to do is create what we call intra-abdominal pressure. So actually pressure from the inside. Because and then we can brace around that, okay? The two are working in opposition to each other. There's this outer sheath, which I just used, with nothing on the inside. That outer sheath would be rectus, transverse abdominis, abdominals, thoracolumbar musculature, lots of fancy words. It's just muscles that go all around the torso here. And they work in a contractile fashion. They crunch down on this cavity, okay? Boom. And that's what everybody wants to do. But we also need to actually expand outward, okay? It's those two and working in opposition to each other. Oh shit, I can't do that. That one was easy. I made a mess.
That's okay.
I didn't mean to make that. I want to make a mess. That was actually a little more. I liked it.
There's a little more monster in there than you thought.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I don't know what happened. It was an accident.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's not the first time.
This never happened to me before.
So how we create that IAP, IAP is short for intra-abdominal pressure, is actually to have the diaphragm descend down, okay? And that's actually, there's no air in here. It's actually descending down and creating pressure against all the organs, which are then pushing out. They're pushing around all the musculature around the spine. They're really creating that stabilization. It actually causes a co-contraction from the pelvic floor as well. So that a lot of people want to think about Valsalva maneuvers and other stuff like that. In reality, you don't need to, because that happens automatically when you cue the diaphragm to descend. So that outward pressure creates this can in the locked position. I can't do anything. This fucker is stable. Now imagine that these two surfaces were like this. It'd be a little harder. If I pressed on here, I would probably get an explosion out this way. You're gonna have spikes, high points of pressure and low points of pressure in this, and it would be much easier for me to crush this, even though we've got a closed cylinder.
Right.
The interesting thing is that I already showed you that the diaphragm doesn't descend as well when you're in this anyway. So if I'm in this pattern right here, this extended pattern, I actually am not able to create IAP. So there's a lot of people say, hey Chris, I'm bracing as hard as I can. I still like round when I get into the hole. Well, if we start here, we're gonna have problems. And this is a big...
And there could be additional issues as well. Like it's not always just your stabilization. There could be a weakness somewhere else, or you could also be maybe not very mobile in a certain range of motion, right?
Yeah. Well, that could lead into, so I know, like you grab really wide.
Yeah.
And you need to.
Right.
Because if you didn't, when you went to set up on this bar, if you tried to get really close because of your lack of that shoulder mobility, it's gonna throw you into extension. I know I'm standing on this backwards, but what's a lot of people's first move when they get up to squat?
Yep.
And we've got load. You can never, once the load's added, you'll never be able to fully recapture that position.
Especially when it's heavy.
Especially when it's
You're
heavy.
not going to be moving around a
You
lot
won't
with
walk
heavy
back
weight.
and go, okay, now it's time to fix this stuff. It will not happen. So it's really important to understand these principles up front. And maybe not make quite a mess as we're doing that, unfortunately. It was fun though, Jess. I did enjoy this. So I call that the soda can analogy, by the way.
Why?
Now the monster can analogy. Anyway, so that's the importance of this, because this is going to affect a lot of other things. The second point, and you don't have to have shoes off to lift, so I'm not a shoes off fanatic.
We just did it because we thought you'd enjoy it.
It's actually a great way to teach and assess. So anytime I'm working with somebody new, they are going to have shoes off. If you need to put them on later, that's fine. But we need to be able to see what's happening in the foot, and also learn how to use the foot. So once you learn how to use it, you can use it properly in the shoe, but it's really hard to assess without it. Do we have any floss band or anything like that?
We have all kinds of
Awesome.
all kinds of goodies in here.
I promise I won't make a mess with this next one. I will only slap Mark in the face with it though. So, shit, I shouldn't have. Oh well.
I kind of need that.
Okay.
When you're trying to brace your stomach, when you're trying to flex, what is it that you're trying to do? Are you trying to like push the obliques outward? Or?
Yeah, so well, we actually want to push out 360 degrees all around. So like there's a lot of people who say, oh, I know how to do that. I learned it in yoga. And it's this full forward breath. That's that, again, that can that's going to open and explode one way.
Right.
Awesome. So we'll get to this in a minute.
Don't hit me in the eye.
But I find that if we focus on the obliques first, it's really good for lifters. So there's a lot of different points we'll look at, but the big one is you should be able to just stick your thumbs in your side like this, right in this crevice right here, and then from there,
just maybe a little above the hip bone.
Yep. So right off, yep, right there. Okay. And then without taking a breath, because we don't want to compensate, so we just want to push them out without using your breath.
Yeah, without using air.
So push them out. Good. So we want to make sure, and then you can check, make sure they're both going at the same rate. One isn't stronger than the other.
It feels a little bit like you're trying to force out a poop.
Yeah, kind of, could be.
A little bit.
Yep. We want to also get this spot here. I'm going to go right here, right below the rib here. So you should be able, it's not going to expand as much, but there it is. We'll feel a little bit of expansion in there.
I feel what you're talking about, yeah.
Okay. And we should also feel right above the belt line. Look, we're getting close and personal.
Oh, hey.
And right here as well. Without breathing, push it out. There it goes. You breathe. Yep. And it's okay to incorporate the breathing with it, but when I'm teaching, it's best to do it separately because we can actually just descend the diaphragm without the use of the breath. And when we learn it separate, it becomes easy to put it back together again.
It takes a different level of concentration when you do it without the breath. Yeah. With the breath, it almost happens automatically.
Yeah, and we don't want to rely on air because people will get in the habit of just taking big air. You never seen anybody squat like that, right? Like a lot of people. Yeah. Well, what happens there is we actually elevated the rib cage and we brought our breath into here. And so it's all actually about descending the diaphragm. So we can do that without breath. And so learning that skill is really important. So learning it independent of breathing. And then once you've got that, Joe Sullivan's a really good one to watch too. You'll watch him lift and you'll see right before he goes to squat, perfect position here. You can see the brace, like you can see mine. That's not just fat. Okay, it's a fair bit of fat, but anyway. And then right before a lift, it's a little bit more. That's gonna cause a little bit. I'll make up a number, maybe 10%, 15% more IAP. But if we rely on it, air is our main source. It's a default beta.
So you're.
And notice I actually didn't come in here very well at all. Okay. So it's a default strategy. So being able to learn it separately and then just be able to add a little bit on top. Boom. Because now we've got this all rigid and locked in, and then we just suck in a little bit more. And just.
That makes sense.
Then you get a little bit more right before we lift. So, second piece we're gonna look at is foot. Okay. So we wanna have, a lot of people think about twisting the floor apart, stuff. I think I might have gone through that in prior videos, but
you and I talked about it
a little bit more. So, and it's really about, we want the force through the midfoot. A lot of people think about being on the heels, not appropriate. Like, the force is through the midfoot. And we want to think about 3 points of contact. Right here, so this is this spot, right between these two, right in the web. Right here, out on this outer metatarsal line, and then in the heel, okay? And all times be able to maintain those connected with the floor. A lot of people want to think about a knees out position. Well, I can get knees out and lose my foot.
Yeah.
Okay, which is gonna affect actually the firing. This controls a lot of stuff that happens in the hip. So we can test all those points. The heel is pretty easy. If you squat and you're coming up on your heel, you're not doing it right. Now, this your squat stance?
Yeah, about here.
Okay, so I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna do this myself first. This is a nice little self-test. So I'm gonna put this right here, right under that pad, okay?
That little piggy went to market.
Yep. So this is a self-test of one of those, so there we go. Right here, I'm gonna pull up on this right here. This would be the part where
Hits you in the
possibly
face.
we slap. I like drills that have like really negative feedback. So slapping you in the face is a good one. This will do that, okay? So I got a lot of tension in here. And I'm gonna squat down. And you'll notice it never loses all three of these points. So I could also test one foot with both of these points. All right?
Ah, I see.
So I could do that and that. Capture both. Oops, I didn't have that one under my foot. Thanks, Smokey.
I forgot.
It's a little easier when, yep. There we go. So I could check this on one foot. Same thing. Maintaining on there. So let's go ahead and have you try that.
All
It's a
right.
little hard to, so I'm gonna go ahead and set that up for you.
All right.
One here. Yep, down. One here.
I lost a little chunk of a toenail on the sled
Oh, nice.
in here, just like I did. Just
Pick that
what
one
you
up
did.
again.
Oh, yeah.
I was barefoot and I just dinked it on the tank, and you
And-
can see it's like
Doesn't take much.
Pull that
gone.
up, put some good pressure in
it
there.
was all bloody. I was like, geez, I just barely nicked it. I feel like I'm gonna lose it before I even start.
Get it right there.
Right here.
Close your eyes.
And now squat down.
I might need to go a little wider, but yeah, there we go. Whoop.
Yep.
Bam. There we go.
So, which I kind
failed.
of expected based on watching Mark
Move.
Widen out.
there. And
Yeah, I'll try to go a little wider. It'll still be hard for me, but could you
just so
a little less?
right here. So we're trying to capture that point.
Got
that
it.
one point. Right there.
Kaboom.
Right there.
There we go. It's a little wider.
Pull up good.
Yep.
Yep. So we've got a little bit of loss there. So rooting is a good one for you to work on.
Yep.
Because you'll notice, like I can externally rotate this leg quite a bit.
Yep.
And you'll notice I maintain those points. They never pick. My arch actually builds up. You can see my foot is completely flat. Mm-hmm. But
You
my,
actually, like,
my
make an
ankle,
arch.
foot and ankle complex is actually what we're looking at. So we're looking at, can I maintain this
Yeah, my
over
feet
here?
got pretty
See, yep,
pretty flat, but I can still.
yep. So we want to keep this all stacked, and that's what we're looking for. So we're looking, he's losing a little bit in his stack, and he's not able to maintain that.
Yep.
So that would be a thing to look at for him, is working on his foot mechanics to improve that base foundation. And if we do that, actually, we don't even have to think about this stuff. This and this, everything in between just happens.
Help fix a lot of other
Yeah.
stuff.
So now we're gonna work into, oh yeah, we're gonna watch Smokey. And Smokey is doing what we call trying to win the drill. Because you'll notice he's not actually squatting like he would normally squat. So
That is my squat.
Just doing a good
I'm
one.
sorry, then. There we go. Good.
There you go, smoke.
Yeah, I'm definitely a little.
Yep.
That was on purpose.
For the drill's sake.
Yep. So this is the importance of having jacked feet. All right, being able to control and maintain that stack, that foundation, because it's actually going to control what happens at the hip as well. So next we're going to move into, we're learning how to stand is all we've got so far. We actually haven't
Yep.
squatted. But a little bit more is like this standing position.
The standing's important.
Standing is important. It's funny though, because you watch everybody unrack a barbell and they're sitting here like this. I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, here's the start position and the finish position right here. It's just standing, but somehow we forget, oh, I'm ready. Like, no. You've actually broken a lot of this stuff immediately. So next we want to talk about the lats is a stabilizer as well. So we've stabilized this really good, but the bar is sitting up here on the shoulder. We want to get this connected into here as well. And a lot of people don't realize the lat is actually a stabilizer in there. And so you need to be able to do basically a lat pull down. You'll notice every time he does that, he's extending here. So want to pin this. There we go, good.
Oh, it made it harder.
It does make it harder, okay? But it'll lock it in tighter and better. You're gonna really struggle with this one. So the objective is actually to find the closest hand position that you can that you could still do a lat pull down. So no extension here, there we go, good. And so engage and pull this elbow to your body. Good, right there. He's really strong, hold on to that. There we go. Now go super tight like people do, like in here. Okay, much weaker.
Yeah,
so closer is not better. Further apart like Mark has to do, we actually, so come on, go ahead and do a Mark. Well, there we go. Now, that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but not too far.
No, that's usually how my arms are. Yeah.
So now try to pull in here. And he's like really weak there. So moving out like creates a little less pressure. So the easy point is just go, where would you lat pull down from? Do a lat pull down, Smokey. Hey, this is right where we were at. Because a lat pull down position is gonna give you the most lat engagement. So we wanna do that, but we wanna have this first. Because you'll notice with both Smokey and Mark, as soon as we started engaging the lat, we started going into extension. But let's go ahead and have you feel here first. Come on, oh, tickle. He's tickly.
I'm very ticklish.
Okay, this is gonna be entertaining. Ooh. Okay, so push my fingers away. All right, let go. Now without breathing, do it. Push my fingers away. Hold, good, good, good. Now hold that, good. You'll notice he didn't extend. If you have this locked in, this won't happen. So there's a priority. So like understanding those priorities is good, because like if I'm gonna go to bench press, I actually want an arch.
Yeah.
So you're actually gonna engage the lat first, then this, because you want the thoracic extension.
Right.
Right? So if we brace, it's just a sequence. So really important thing to differentiate, right?
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it does. All right, let's,
Well, all the things you're talking about get amplified once you put a belt on. The more that you know how to do what you're talking about, the more you can get out of your belt.
And a lot of people think of a belt as a crux, but a belt can be a great learning tool. Because just putting it on brings some proprioceptive awareness to this full 360-degree inflation.
You make a belt or something like that, right?
We sell one, the breath belt, a breathe belt.
Yep.
It's an expandable, it's just a Velcro belt.
Right.
So it's not a supportive, but it cues it. But a regular belt, just like the ones you do, are gonna do the same thing.
Right.
Okay? That one is just more focused on that versus then providing support also for lifting. So cheap little trick.
Cheap tricks.
People like doing goblet squats, and I'll show you why. So go ahead and throw this in your hand. Mm-hmm. So automatically with the load in front, it's gonna cue people into this good sternal position right here, okay? And it actually cues the engagement of the lat muscle, or the rectus, and keeps a good stack, okay? Helps it a little easier to keep the load over the midfoot, which is basically the concept behind the transformer bar, that we can actually move the loads around in space, that we can actually correct patterns automatically, and where we don't have to have all this stuff like, I don't have to be a super amazing squatter to have great squat technique.
You also get rid of the upper body dysfunction that people have through the shoulders. Yeah.
So this is an easy one. and a lot of people jump to it, but they don't know why it works so well. So Smokey, go ahead and grab this. So good. You're automatically not gonna go into extension. Lats are gonna be on a little bit. Rectus is gonna be fired. Everything's in here. Really good foot position. Good.
Oh my God.
Great, yeah. But now it becomes harder when we actually get this bar behind us, and now we're fighting our shoulders, and that's what a lot of people don't realize. They're fighting the bar to try to maintain good position. It's this is not an easy position to get on. That external rotational demand of the shoulder is gonna wanna throw you into extension. So we wanna make sure that we've got this stuff, this good standing posture stuff down first, so we don't lose those positions.
Where do we put the bar on our back?
Wherever you want. Wherever you squat the most. Comfortable. I don't care. I think it's one of those things that people like to argue on forums of the internet, like, if you want to track your low bar, track your high bar, mid, high, low, whatever, I don't know. wherever.
Right.
So,
I agree.
yeah. Let's get to squatting.
Yeah, move around a little bit. See if I can keep my hands on the bar here.
And you can see, because of Mark's shoulders, it wants to get in that position. Good. Good. I can stand up now.
Yeah, I can feel myself wanting to like be like that.
Because you've got to really struggle. Yep.
I'm not even really trying to do that. I've actually never even noticed that.
So for you, I want to think about, see this, I'm not sure if you can see on the camera, but there's a flare in that rib cage. So he's in a little bit of extension right here. So think about taking this, not crunching, so not rolling over at the shoulder, but taking it and pinning it back here. So I don't know if you can do that. There it is, good. And then now feel hard, good. And root. Good.
Yeah.
That's going to be a big challenge for you, like to be able to really master that. We could do some work to try to clean that up a little bit first if you wanted to. I don't know if we have
just to get the thoracic spine to move around a little bit better. Yeah, why not?
Okay. Do you have my old boomstick here?
Yeah, we got a bunch of your stuff here.
Okay. And
but yeah, I'm really stiff through here. We talked about it a little bit on the podcast, and that's what led to some torn pecs and stuff like that too. So it's not only limited me in the squat, it's also was a limiting factor on the bench.
Absolutely. I've got two things in my bag I'm going to grab really quick too.
Yeah, go for it. So squatting here today with Chris Duffin. Chris Duffin has about 4 or 5 years ago, he set out what he calls grand goals, and I want to say it started out with just a deadlift. I think he wanted to do a 1,000-pound deadlift for a triple, and he did a 1,000-pound sumo deadlift. I think he's the only person to ever do a 1,000-pound sumo deadlift. He did it with straps, so he cheated, of course, but I think he did it for a double. I think he might have missed the third rep. And then March 18th, he's going for a 1,000-pound squat for a triple. He squatted 800 pounds every day for a month. He also tried to deadlift 400 kilos, 881 pounds every day, and somehow miraculously survived through 16 days of that. So that's why we got him showing us what's going on here.
So I got these blue butt plugs.
Oh, these things. I love these things.
They work for that too.
Your shirt.
Yeah. So what I'm going to have you do is you're going to lay down on your back here.
All right.
With these.
Like, in the upper back?
Yep. So we're going to go right in here. Now I want you to roll onto this.
Okay, hold on.
Maybe it's better if I show you first. Here, let me. Okay.
That just feels so painful.
It's going to be painful.
Good.
Yeah.
I'll just lay down with him.
All right, so I'm going to put those right right here. And I'm going to push my body, and it should be really painful. And then I want you to take this and rotate as hard. It's going to suck. I'm sorry. This way as you can, and then do a little reach. And we'll do the other side.
But I don't even like lifting that much. Doesn't matter, I still got to do it.
It doesn't matter. You asked me to record it, and I like hurting you. So here we go.
Boom.
Yep, right there.
And get my body weight on there.
Get your body weight on it.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know.
Holy
and now,
smoke-a-rooskies.
There we go. Rotate that. Rotate as much as you can that way. This way. Just focus on that way. Good. Good. One.
Makes me want to puke all over the place. Projectile vomit.
So this is just hitting the external rotators. And they're kind of painful. It's a little small.
I feel it in like my ear.
But what we're trying to do is just open him up a little bit more so he can get in better position. Pretty easy. You could probably like tape maybe 2 lacrosse balls or something together if you want.
Toledo.
I like these. They don't roll anywhere.
Try the other side.
Yep.
Boop. Way up.
It doesn't take long. Yep, right there. Should be it.
How many times do you go through it usually?
Just like this, basically, until basically you get the range of motion that you want, or you stop seeing progress.
Oh, the shoulder moves at least a little bit better, but god damn.
It's kind of painful, but this works really, really well. So, because there's a lot of things that can tie it up. We've also got the lat and the subscap, and we're actually getting a little bit of subscap when we do this one, or we could just go straight into the lat and subscap, clean those up. A lot of people want to focus on the pec and delt in these, but I find this pays off a lot more.
How often do you do these?
Just when needed, yeah.
He was saying earlier on the podcast that you shouldn't really need a lot of stuff like this. Your training should be good enough to where you don't have to spend too much time.
It's a big thing is like understanding if you need to do stuff like this, obviously you need to do it because you want to get in good position. I don't want to compromise my spinal position while I'm squatting.
That actually felt really good though. I mean, it did.
They're good.
It was super painful.
And then push into those. There it is. Yeah, and now. And push it farthest this way as you can. Keep opening. Arm up
The
here.
way you were going,
Good,
Smoke,
good, good. Yeah, there we go. Good. And then you could also reach overhead if you want to, so slide the elbow.
I don't want to.
Yeah, there you go.
You got to channel your inner zen, your inner peace. Oh, he stopped breathing.
I am holding my breath.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So yeah, it's a signal, and this is what people miss. Like, you shouldn't have to do this stuff. Like, oh, I need to do it every week or before every session. Like, people get caught in that trap. If you're having to do this every day for every training day for 6 months, like, you know, what's that? The definition of insanity.
Yeah.
So you really need to dig deeper in understanding why is this happening?
Your
what am I doing?
Tissues
with my...
are shitty because you're not moving well.
Exactly. So body's just trying to do what it's trying to do. Like, it's trying to actually help you by limiting your range so that you don't continue to be in a compromised position. What we need to dive into, why is that? But when this one gets fired up, it is a bitch.
Yeah. Have you been able to keep your mobility with all the weight gain? Because you used to be 220 and now you're 280.
I'm still fairly mobile, yeah.
I mean, you're just sitting right on your heels.
Yeah.
That's hard for a lot of bigger guys. You have huge thighs, so.
Yeah, I mean,
That's crazy.
you know, I can do stuff like that.
Holy shit. Wow. That would break my knees.
I haven't tried the splits in a while, but
Don't do anything to try to impress us. You got
I
1,000
got to
pound,
squat tomorrow. But
1,000
anyway,
pound squat to
for
do for a
280, I'm
triple.
not bad. I'm not like fucking super flexy, man.
Yeah.
There's a balance, right? But I'm not jacked up and immobile.
Yeah.
So, except for my elbows. All right, let's see if we can get in that bar a little bit. See how that feels.
Yeah. Let's do it. I feel like a new woman.
I know that because that yields some results, positive results.
Stand up. Good. Take this and pen. Good.
When I started squatting some big boy weights a few years ago, and I was in my squat suit, I really learned to put my butt forward a lot at the start. That helped a lot without crunching down too much, you know, just kind of here.
Yep, we just want to maintain this right there and not have it move. There it is, good. And you can see what I was talking about, this. Wanted to pick and roll just a little bit.
Yeah, I can feel my feet moving around.
It's not the end of the world. I definitely would not be squatting or anything like that. That's never the answer.
What about rolling the feet out and stuff like that? Anything like that supposed to be?
Definitely helpful.
Okay.
Yeah, for you, what I would do, real quick, is what we want to do is check what's called tibial rotation. So a lot of people, like, they start up, hey, my foot's rolling, it's something in the hip, working the ankle, but it's actually can be the bones in here. So what we want to do is test, and the fix is to get in this position, turn towards internal to make it more challenging, okay? And now, can I maintain these points as I externally rotate out? Boom. So take your foot and turn it in. Oh yeah, there we go.
Turn the foot in.
And now, without using your body to lean, just rotate this out. Yeah, so.
That's good.
That's bad. That is bad. Yeah.
That's cool.
And Mark, that's pretty good right there. Could be better. Yeah, I would like to. So for you, is just continue to work this. So just trying to push that a little bit further. And that's just active movement to try to fix that. To clean it up, hey, let's put Smokey in some pain. Come here. Okay.
Oh, my groin.
What?
We're gonna do tib anterior. So we're gonna put this ball like right in here, then here, and then here. And as you're in there, you're gonna put your body weight on it, and you're gonna do circles with your
Oh,
foot.
that's a real killer.
Yeah.
That's that brake muscle, brake and gas pedal muscle. He's gonna poop himself.
There it is. Put your weight on there. Pick those hands up. Put some weight on there.
I feel like my legs are gonna shatter.
Okay, now start moving that foot around.
Oh!
Yeah, there we go. Do circles.
Dang, that's crazy.
So
I'm holding
there's
myself
two
up.
bones. There's two bones in there, and they need to rotate. And a lot of people don't
They get really
realize. They
stuck.
think it's like this will cause like you see the people that'll side shift in a squat. A lot of people always like it's this groin, it's this hip. A lot of times it can just be one leg that these are bound up on, and so it won't. You can't externally rotate here.
Right.
And so you'll push away and push onto this hip. So this is a really quick way, and you could test. We just tested one leg.
Success.
Your face still looks like that was fun.
That hurt pretty good.
Yeah,
When you said
I knew it would because I saw.
Move my foot. That made a huge difference.
Yeah,
Yeah, because you were flexing against it probably.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It literally feels like a dead shit.
Yeah.
I'm holding myself up a lot too.
She hurts.
yeah. So this will be able to allow you to get this good ground contact and stay there. So you can really get that firing the way that you want.
No cheating with your knees.
Oh yeah, I got the knee sleeve on. Oh my God.
Yeah, I think
It
tibial
hurts
rotation is really
bad, but
overlooked
it feels pretty
for
good.
squatting.
Oh. I found a new spot.
That's pretty rough.
Wow.
I'll have to do that.
Yeah. No, you need to.
Yeah.
And then the other is just practicing that drill and getting to, again, where you can be here. We internally rotate to make it harder. Hold that position. Make sure we're not leaning or pushing.
Yeah.
Like, here, stay here, and then
This
just do
one's not
this.
as bad.
Right? And you notice, I can do that pretty well.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm a fat 280 pounder, so.
A fat 180 pounder.
Holy cannoli. Damn.
80-ish.
Yeah. So yeah, that's gonna help your squat quite a bit.
Are
If
you
you
guys
can get
getting
that
some
there,
questions
Smokey.
popping up on there?
I told him to hold him until we're ready
Okay.
to take him. So
So now that you're in that standing position, don't.
Before I
Yeah.
activate.
There we go. Good. Okay. Now a little bit there. Good. Now focus on the rooting of the foot in that position as you just go down between your legs. Good.
What did you have
Have
to
you
work
always
on?
had that bias towards the right leg on your squat?
Yep. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm working through it now. It's really tight, and it's actually substantially larger.
Okay. Yeah. You're doing most of your squat with it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And your glute too, right?
Yeah, so my left side, my right side is overcompensating big time. That's great. You can notice that right away.
You
I
think
do notice
maybe
these
the
things.
biggest thing you had to work on, Chris, is just kind of being able to like drop your upper body through your lower body in a good posture.
Yeah.
Because
so
I think
this is-
one of the biggest losses of strength is just kind of that, you know, starts to lean forward, right?
And the other is like a lot of people, especially with our background, Mark, where we came up in that west side area, and the sit back,
Right.
which is fine if we understand what it means, which means sit back with this stacked on top of the hips.
Right.
But what we saw most of the time is people did this to sit back. First move was right here, break.
And they kind of led
And
the
now
whole
it's
thing
broken
with their
and you'll
butt.
never re-win.
Yeah, because they went
'Cause
here. like
you're
this.
just, and you've created that open scissor, so you've destabilized your ability to brace in here effectively. Like a whole lot of stuff happens. We
Right.
broke the most important part of the chain a fraction of a second in, because we're like, where's that box? Boom. Try to find it. Box squat's not bad. Box squat didn't make you do that.
Right.
You can still box squat stacked on top.
Right.
So, and that's like getting here is just huge. Maintaining here is huge. If you can master this, your strength in this position, in this hole where you're normally really weak on a right squat, will just feel like so powerful to just come out of. You'll be like, oh fuck, I'm halfway done
You'll
with the
feel
squat. Let's go.
Yeah,
Let's
you'll
go.
feel stronger out of the bottom than you will halfway down, right?
Maybe not, but stronger than you imagined.
Right.
You could be in the hole. So.
Got it.
The other thing is, so we talked about this, head position. I think people make a little bit too much big deal out of head position. Like, it's got to be packed, it's got to be all this. Like, if it's up, it's got to be down, whatever.
As long as it's not negatively impacting everything else you're trying to do.
Yeah, it should be in this position.
Right.
Let's talk about standing again.
Right.
It's just this. And like people want to define what neutral is. Neutral is your standing posture. So it's here.
Right.
I find that some people try to, like starting strength, I think overcoaches this looking down, saying it's neutral, but it's.
Yeah, he wants you kind of like this. Yeah.
It ends up affecting your squat. So I think a little bit of bias is good. I really like focusing more on the base of the neck. So right here to right here. So people want to focus on doing stuff here, but it's really, best cue is, imagine you've got a big gold chain on, medallion right here. Okay, it could be silver, it doesn't really matter. You got a medallion here, okay? And it's running on the back, and it's hanging on a necklace back here. Raise the medallion on your chest.
Just kind of here.
There you go. So it's
Sexy
the
double chin.
base, it's right in here. Because we could do this. If I do this, it stays right here.
Right.
It's this position right there, this base of the neck.
Chicken
Which does affect, so there's a lot of muscles in here. Our neck flexors, which actually directly relate to our hip flexors and actually affect our breathing as well. Your neck flexors and diaphragm are connected in the embryonic stage in the womb. And so there's this deep lasting connection there. So we find overworking them, having them stretched all the time can be really negative. Right. And just getting and controlling this thoracic out right there. That's beautiful. Subtle. You let it go forward again. There we go, right here. Okay, it's this right here. This subtle position in here is money. And then I can do whatever I want here.
Bobblehead.
This doesn't matter. But this really has a huge output in improving neurological response. Your basically ability to handle a lot more weight. All of a sudden it'll be like, oh, fuck, that was easy. Like the bar just looked like it's gonna, like I've seen when I taught people this, sometimes it's like the bar almost wants to come off their back at the top of a squat. They just had, it's huge. You wanna see if you can do it? He's hiding under the beard. We can't tell what Smokey's up to. Actually, this is really good. Let it go.
I'm watching.
Yeah, there we go. It's right there, and not losing this. Another one.
Yeah, make sure you're not.
I like doing this for people that still have a tendency to extend here at the ribcage. Is to have them focus on pinning that, but then filling right below this. So push my fingers away without breathing. There you go. Good.
Yeah, that was hard.
It is.
Yeah.
So if you can focus on this and this, then a lot of things will come into play as well. But that gives you this entire focus right here, because you're also wanting to lose a little bit of position right here. So it's like, here's just one area to kind of focus on. It's like pin, but fill. So it's the opposite of a crunch. We still keep them differentiated. And that can be really effective. You want to try that one on the bar?
Yeah.
Do we want to put a weight on here?
Yeah,
or
we can
something?
put some weight on there. Yeah, let's put a plate on there. That'll be good.
I mean, we are filming. It's got to have some weight on there.
Yeah, that's right. This bar is really well designed. I wonder where it came from.
Is this one of oh, this is our old bare steel one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't sell them bare steel anymore. So,
Power Bear. Get my arms in here.
good. All right, stand tall and strong, good. Pin rib cage and fill here. And let's give it a little bit of that base of the neck. It's gonna be really hard to maintain this. Fill hard and maintain it. Boom.
Yeah, very hard to keep everything kind of in alignment at the same time.
It is. The setup becomes hard, like really incredibly hard, but then all of a sudden the squat becomes
Super easy.
easy.
Yeah.
You're like, I fucking can't believe this is so damn hard. And then you go to squat and
Yeah.
you're like, oh, that was freaking easy though.
It does make your hips, it feels like it makes my hips move a little more efficiently.
It looked like you were actually dropping much better
Yeah.
into the hole than I've seen you for a while.
Yeah, it almost felt like I was pulling
And
down
you're sore
towards the
right
ground.
now too, right?
Very sore.
Yeah.
Killed myself the other day. Not a good idea. All right, stop flexing the biceps. Got to show off all the time.
Good. Pin. There. Fill this. Maintain it. Grab those feet. There we go. Good, 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 good. We've got some good maintenance. I don't know what his normal looks like, but that's pretty solid. It's starting to break a little bit as he fatigued or more time.
Yeah.
It may not like, oh, I'm doing reps with this, but it's actually amount of time holding this brace.
Yeah.
So like all of my movement work right now is surrounding this type of stuff. And I do it, my threshold is 25 to 30 seconds. So I practice all of it. And if it becomes too easy, I don't go for a longer time. I'll add a band or something like that. Why? A triple with a heavy weight takes me 25 to 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So that's my training. That's what I'm doing. So
It's a lot more kind of
so I'm
detailed.
doing very, very specific for that. But it's like I practice really heavy bracing work, but it's all about that threshold and being able to hold it. Because doing it for a minute and a half, I don't need to do right now. Everything's very specific. What's your glute issue?
Yeah.
So you said left one isn't firing as well?
Correct.
And how long's that been going on?
A couple of years.
Okay.
I haven't addressed it until recently.
Okay. Okay. All right. No breathing. Push my fingers away. Relax. Again. Push them away. I'm gonna pull your shirt up. I wanna look at your belly.
Do it.
Okay.
Do it.
Off?
Up's fine.
Pain.
There you go. There you go. Okay. Okay. All right, again. Good. Relax. Again. No default. Okay, there we go. Good. Okay. Push away here. More away. Fill it like a balloon. Relax. Push my fingers away. Nope. Relax.
So to reiterate, we're trying to
Push
fill
my
up,
fingers away. No breathing.
trying to fill up
Not
these spots
flexing.
that Chris is talking about.
Fill,
Without
fill.
breathing.
Push, push, push. Relax. You're almost getting there. Okay, one more. Push away. More, more, more. Good. That's it.
Damn. I don't even know what I just did though.
Yeah, I know.
can
To
feel
try
my.
to,
I
You're
can-
flexing. You're
try
flexing
to-
first. You're creating the can that wants to explode first.
try to replicate it. Yeah.
So here's the thing. A lot of people want to focus on that brace. Boom, I need to crunch down fucking hard. Guess what?
That's as hard as it needs to be. Just
Bracing is reactive. If I put 500 pounds on there, you don't need to think about the brace.
get his face.
If I punch him, if he punches me, like, if he went to throw a punch at me, he would brace automatically. If he takes a punch, he's gonna brace. Although him, not very, there we go. It's gonna happen. So it's a reactive force where creating the IAP is not. So you need to practice the creation of the IAP because the brace over the top will happen. I'm not gonna get under a freaking 900 pounds and be like, I'm not braced.
Right,
like,
right.
It's gonna be, all that outer sheath is gonna be fucking on. So let's practice the piece that makes a little more of that conscious approach, okay? And which is filling it, okay? Relax. Okay, good. Push away. More. Good. Maintain this. Good. Put your hands out in front. Okay, we're gonna do the same thing again, and then you're gonna squat. Don't lose it. More. Good. Squat. Get in here, stay. There we go. Good. Away. More. Good. Go.
Chris, you gotta move here.
There's
Do that
there's
for
no
him every
shift.
time he squats.
There's no shift. Did you see that?
Yeah.
The first one, he shifted heavy, and then the shift went away.
I'm fixed.
No? But you know how to fix it,
Yeah.
okay? This, good. Hold that, go. I can't see what's going on, you have to tell me, but.
It's perfect.
Okay, good. Let's do it under a bar now.
Don't fuck it up.
Hey, that's what you told me 4 years ago.
What's that?
You asked me to hand off for you on reverse bench. I tell this story the last 4 years. So Chris comes to the gym. Chris comes to the gym and he's doing reverse grip bench.
Yep.
And you did 315, I want to say, for 20 reps, and then you wanted 225 for 60 reps. So you're like, hey, can you spot for me? I go, yeah, cool. And you're putting wrist wraps and you go, don't fuck it up. And I was like, new spotter. I'm out. I'm never like it was yesterday. All right. Okay.
I'm kind of a jerk sometimes. It's all right.
So walking out first.
Yep. Good.
You go smoke.
And now you're gonna reset it. So good. No breathing. Push out. Hold it. Good. Feet. Squat.
Oh. Hey now.
Hey, something learned to do.
It's
Did you
all-
see the hip shift was gone though? But now you gotta deal with the walking away from the bar. Good. There we go. Phil, good. Foot. Go.
Looks pretty even to me.
That's pretty fucking even. There's a little bit, about a half an inch.
Not bad.
No. If it wasn't already there, most people wouldn't even be able to see that.
Yeah,
It was
you
so
noticed it
minimal.
right away. All I had to do was the bar.
Yeah. Excellent.
Awesome.
Guess what happens? Lots of shit doesn't happen if we don't start with this
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
So
Let's just get a little bit more
I
weight
don't
on
even
there.
know what's
Do-
going on in the hip, but I wanted to start here
Do
and see
another
what
plate.
happens. This is why.
That made a difference.
How long does it take you to do some of your workouts? I know that you're
God.
primarily focused on that 1,000-pound squat for
Yeah.
3, and then like
I'm trying to shorten the workout because it's taken me the last month, usually about 6 hours.
it just takes whatever amount of time
Yeah.
that it
The,
takes.
the last one I think I had down to under 5 hours, so hopefully I need to get it down a little shorter. So it just takes a long time.
What takes the longest? Oh, well, you wrap your knees for the last probably 3 sets or so, right?
Yep. Well,
3 or 4 sets.
last couple warm-ups, and
Yeah.
then the working sets. So I do like 4 heavy working sets, and I'll need 15 or 20 minutes between every one.
Right.
There's a couple hours right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do my movement prep work, set up because I have that funky jury-rigged setup for my squat that I'm squatting out of. I have to set that up and then do my warm-ups, and I'm about 2-3 hours in at that point because, you know, it's like 700 pounds.
Yeah.
Still got to work up to that, and then it's a couple hours to do it, and then hopefully I can get my soft tissue and BFR work in afterwards. There's another 30 minutes.
And then your movement pattern stuff is just unique to how you feel.
Yep.
It's just, you're not doing a bunch of shit that you don't necessarily need just because it's routine. You're doing stuff that you really
if I'm
feel
feeling
you
good and I do a couple checks, I might just go straight to squatting.
Yep.
People don't, they like, but Chris, you have the movement site. You have, like, if you're moving well,
Yeah. I mean,
a warm-up, people miss the point, like, what's a warm-up? Movement prep.
Yeah.
Right? If I'm squatting well and everything's moving well, that is my preparation.
Right.
Like, somehow we forgot that, and I've got to make sure I really reiterate that because I have a subscription-based website on movement patterns. I sell soft tissue tools, but that doesn't mean you should be doing that stuff every fucking workout.
You're right. Makes sense.
I was really happy with that, Smokey. That was really good. It takes a lot of effort and awareness, though, but it gets easier. Like,
So once you push your gut out, I need to take a breath then and brace
you,
from there.
yeah, doesn't have to be big, just a little. What's breath for? So we don't die, okay? You're not gonna die from not breathing during your squat. You do not need to go, okay? We're not going underwater. People miss this. You need enough breath so you don't pass out. That is it. There you go.
Yeah, it's really hard to lock in.
Yeah, that first one, you're still wanting to go back to that default air into the chest. And then
I
you
can
started
feel-
getting a little more comfortable.
I was trying to
and you
figure
were
out
getting-
this part, and it was
yeah, you were
tough.
getting a little better with each one. I didn't want to coach. I hate coaching while lifting. So
Yeah.
just let you do and learn.
Right.
I'm not much of a
Yeah.
weight man, but I'll give it a go.
Yeah, getting air into theirs feels weird.
Spotters?
I got you. I won't fuck it up, Smokey.
Don't fuck this up.
The last rep, you started shifting just because you're not able to hold this as long.
First one felt awesome.
Yeah, so that's just your ability to be able to hold this.
That first one felt
So,
great.
yeah, I got on our kabuki.ms or kabuki.education, you can find our movement library. There's tons of drills on how to practice this and really get that rib cage position, the inflation. So there's an entire series of stuff on this.
I'm trying one with my belt on.
I need it.
Would you suggest for people to learn to do it without a belt first?
Yeah.
And then learn how their stomach feels first, maybe? Let's see. I want to see how it feels with the belt on. I'm trying to push all this stuff out. With you, you know, I'm sure you get a lot of questions about this kind of stuff, like how tight, you know, is your belt?
You should be able to slide a finger in there, finger or two. A lot of people will want to wrench them on too tight, and then we've created that cavity that you can't fill. So you're like, you can't.
Yeah, I definitely feel like it's a little easier.
Yeah, it does. It does make it easier. Good.
Yeah, that I started feeling it quite a bit. It started to make a big difference. Whew.
You gonna try it with the belt?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Normally it takes you all more sets to get to that depth point.
Yeah. Yeah, I
it
feel
will,
like like I said, I feel like I'm pulling myself to the ground. It feels more comfortable. Yep, here we go. Nice.
Is it feeling?
Felt
Look,
good.
okay. Look a little bit of shift on that one from the back. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
As far as assistance exercises, you're not really doing any right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then what are some favorites of yours to help with the squat, or do you just like to squat and squat and squat?
No, I like doing a lot of different variations. So belt squatting is really good if I want to add some extra volume, but I don't have that axial load capacity, right? So that's a really great one. I like to do my belt squats in more of a sissy squat fashion, really to bring out a little bit more quad. That way, because I've been trying to switch from being a more posterior dominant squat to getting a more quad involvement.
So maybe
that's
intentionally drive the knee forward?
Yeah, yep. Sometimes I'll block up the rear, and I have a little loop that I'll hang on to and really allow me to get into that. Actually, the one I was showing you on the floor, is a really cool one because we're actually, normally, we're firing off of this is our stable point, and then we're working the quad off of the knee. This is actually makes the quad the stable point, and now we have to fire and pull off of the hip to complete the movement. So we're actually working the quad. And if you've never done them before, it will light you up like hell, but it also is working this whole fascial chain through here and really opening up the hips. So that is a great finisher. If you can't do them, you can hang a band off of a rack so you've got some support and do it. The big thing is people want to switch to let the hips come in. You need to keep fully locked out when you do the quad fall out. I'll do leg extensions as well. I usually like doing leg extensions with like maybe some BFR, blood flow restriction. So is beneficial. Obviously, transformer bar squats are like a cornerstone for me because I can do a lot of different variations. So my entire prep developmental cycles leading into this was all done with the transformer bar. Nope. Oh, okay. So it was all done with transformer bar. So I would do like a more aggressive forward setting early in the week, and later in the week do something that was closer to like a front squat. So again, really focusing on that quad dominance, upper back strength, but varying the intensity levels with it. So that entire cycle was done that way. Front squatting, I really enjoy front squatting. If people haven't done it with the Duffalo bar, it's really cool because the bar doesn't want to roll off of your shoulders, which is really important, like me, if you can't reach the bar. So I have to do zombie style, but that's the reason I do that. But a lot of times when people are front squatting, if it starts moving, they'll still like try chasing it with the shoulders a little bit, and they'll end up in that squat pattern you were talking about earlier, where you're out here. So this not rolling is really, really great for front squats. So
and in a transformer bar, you can kind of mimic a front squat
you can
as well,
mimic
right?
that as well with the front. Yep. So I just like doing them so I can show off zombie squats and go, look, I'm fucking badass. Look at this. Yeah.
So,
but you know,
if some of the people at home, if you guys got questions, start asking them now. I'm going to ask them one more question before we jump into that. And you answered some of this on the podcast. How'd you get yourself from 220 to 280? There's a lot of people that are hard gainers out there. How were you able to gain the weight?
Well, a big thing is it's been over a long period of time. I competed at 220 when I was a natural 220, and then I kept growing and kept competing at 220 for a long time. So I wasn't really like went from 220 to 280 in a couple year time frame. That's not really the case. Yeah, there's no tricks to it. It's just eating more, like, and unpleasantly so. Like a lot of people think, oh, bulking's fun. Yeah, maybe for your first few weeks, more few months, but after a while, it gets old. I would like to point out though, like one of the best things that I have done in my bulking is actually to get super lean. So, and you've seen me do this through the years.
Yeah.
It improves my sensitivity and my response. So I will get shredded, fill back up, and then to the point where I quit getting bigger, get shredded, go again.
Right.
And because at some point your body just stops responding. If you're on a continual bulk for like 3 years, so this spring, I mean, in February or I think January, February, March-ish, right in that time frame, on 280 right now, I was 5% body fat, just you can go find the pictures. So it's not that long ago, but I did that in preparation for this bulk. Okay.
Leaning out to get
Leaned out so that I really respond well, because, and it's, to me, I think a lot of people kind of miss that. Like, you just can't stay on it. Just like if you're dieting, you can't stay hardcore diet and expecting to lose weight all the time. You need to level out every now and again, and then continue again.
And you're okay you're okay with gaining some body fat because it's towards your goal, right?
It is. So you know me, I like being lean normally. I had to really, it was a kind of a mental struggle this time, and it still is in the process. Because I'm going weight and I'm like, fuck, I'm not gaining, I need to get more. But then I look in the mirror and I'm like, God, you're a fat fuck. like I just like, it's this constant head game. But it's like, I know for a fact, like, if I get fatter and a larger belly, it's going to make my goal more realistic.
Right.
This is just the reality of it.
Yeah.
Like, some people, and it's a good question, because I get this a lot online. They're like, I don't understand. What does just fat gain have to do with moving more weight? And some people don't understand that you're basically transferring, boom, it's like hitting somebody.
Yeah, and you're bouncing off your belly.
It doesn't matter if I'm fat or muscle.
Right.
Obviously more muscle is going to be better, but there's only so much muscle you can put on.
Right.
I'm going to be able to transfer that and throw you across the floor.
Right.
Like sumo wrestling, right? Is it sumo? Anyway. And same thing, you're transferring that in the bar. You're also running into yourself. You've got more mass around here stabilizing your core, right? So when you lose weight, your bench goes down and your squat goes down, but you don't actually get weaker. So a lot of people don't understand, like, go test non-joint specific or not large muscle exercises.
Right.
Go do some isolation movements. Are your curls still the same if you're not throwing your body into it? Is your pec fly still the same? Is your, like, taking those things where you can take your mass out of it? Because people always say, did you get weaker when you threw your weight loss? I'm like, no, but my ability to lift heavy went down. That doesn't make sense.
Right.
Yes, it does.
There's so many other things.
I am still physically as strong, but I can't move as much mass because I don't have mass against mass.
Right.
So it's literally a fat suit. It's going to help stabilize and throw more power into it. So it's helpful for people to understand those differentiations, because I see some people, they just don't grasp that. They're like, so.
There's a lot of things that you sacrifice when you start chasing big numbers like this, 1,000 pound deadlift for reps and things like that, and 800 pound squats.
Well, the deadlift isn't affected as much by strength. So when I did the I was 260 when I did the 1,000. I think I was 262 that day. So.
But you were mentioning on the podcast that like one of your favorite things to do is work on your truck.
Yep.
But even at this time, you can't work on your truck because you're so focused on this 1,000 pound squat. I think that's important for people to hear, I think.
Yeah, no, it's like, I'm not training that frequently, but like my ability, like I have to do so much every day for recovery. My energy levels aren't as high because I'm walking around at a heavier weight. Right. I can't get in different positions very effectively, or I can, but like, you're gonna get sore and tweaked, getting, spending time bent over a hood doing stuff isn't gonna be. So yeah, there's definitely sacrifices. So I have to separate like what I'm doing in my life based on those time frames. So.
Very cool. You guys got some questions? What do we got?
Yeah, let's go to the
we do.
camcorder for the
Oh
You
yeah.
want to switch to the other one?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Let me do that.
You can raise it up. You guys can come over a bit closer.
About right here.
Is this so quiet?
Let's raise.
I don't even remember that story, Smokey, but
I remember,
that's
yeah,
hilarious.
I've told it like 100 times.
It totally sounds like something I would do.
Because you asked me to do me a favor and then you followed out. I was like, I don't want to do it.
I see Jason watching at home, sitting there with a red T-shirt. You just won a Duffalo bar.
Dang, Jason.
And Sarah, you as well. How many more can we give out today? Just kidding.
So actually, this one's pretty interesting. Papa Clutch asks Chris, why do you listen to classical music while you lift?
So I don't listen to as much classical anymore because it annoys everybody else in the gym.
Oh, man.
So I used to listen to like straight Vivaldi, but now I listen to things with a little bit more modern beat, with some instrumentals. So for me, it's actually just whatever stirs emotion. So I talked about that in the podcast today. So I talked about being able to really kind of enter a meditative state, this state where I can, reach this different state of mind. And so music is actually really useful for me for that. But I've been lifting a long time. I got burnt out on heavy metal like a long time ago. Like it's during the gym, like it was great for 10 years or whatever, but like there's a point of like, okay, that doesn't work anymore. But the music that I'm listening to, sometimes it's a little eclectic, but it's just like whatever hits me right. Like there's just a weird song and it just draws my emotions. It could be really sad. It could be upbeat. It could be intense. So like right now, like I'll listen to Sia, Breathe Me. There's some instrumental, what's that stuff? The EDM music.
Yeah.
So Excision I'm listening to. Some slower stuff by Five Finger Death Punch. Just some oddball stuff, but it changes. Just whatever, because if it stirs that, it's only going to happen for a while, and then it just doesn't work anymore. So.
Have you ever gone too far with your emotions? Like, have you ever like gone to such a weird spot that it's like threw you off? Or you're too hyped afterwards or something? Or
definitely. Well, so one, it's gotten me like it stirs emotions. So sometimes it ends up leading to being like sad or like crying.
Well, because
like,
doesn't.
I mean, literally, like
doesn't just shut off after you do the lift.
So you can go a little too far sometimes with that. So it leaves me in this weird.
Yeah, I've had that happen myself.
Yeah, so it's like I'm over there sobbing about something, and it's just like, what? Why is this happening? So.
And it's the mad scientist. He's not mad like he's angry. He's mad like he's, a little,
crazy.
Anyway,
It makes sense. Kevin Giordano asks, what causes calf pain during squatting?
So this is a tough thing about questions that are very specific like that, because there's a million things that could cause it. It takes an assessment to look at what you're doing to see what's causing the issue. Like there is no, so don't trust anybody that says, here is the fix for blah, blah, blah. Like, because it doesn't work that way. You need to like look at what's going on, have an assessment, be able to, okay, here's what I believe, test, and then, make an intervention, then go retest. So I really don't answer those questions. But we have, if you want a self-help guide, that's the kabuki.ms, or you can find it on kabuki.education, that can walk you through it. Or if you want to reach out to us, we can do an assessment. Like you'll send us videos, we'll watch it, we'll get back with a plan for you, saying here's what we want you to do, just a one-time thing. So those are all things that we do for that, because we realize that is how it is. So we have services at different levels, from dirt cheap, that's self-guided, to others. Take a look at our educational content, go through and try some things.
Just real simple information on anyone that has anything hurt on any lift in the gym. You go to do something, your shoulder hurts, you go to do something, your back hurts. Just try to get warm. Like maybe you never explored, maybe you never tried doing a little bit of calf training before your squats. Like he said, we have no clue on, it could be your foot, could be your ankle, could be your knee. We don't know where your pain is coming from, but just try to get your body really warmed up for your workout.
A couple people are asking how to activate the glutes a little bit better during a squat. They're saying that they're more quad dominant. Anything you can help them out with that sort of thing?
Yeah. So I talked about the standing position in this thing. So this is an issue I see a lot of times is people being in this unhinged pattern. So if we're in the unhinged pattern, we're likely not getting this stabilization. So we saw this literally in Smokey's squat. One of his glutes isn't working as well. How did we fix it? Getting him in a better standing position, breathing and bracing more effectively, okay? This starting position, same thing on deadlifts. A lot of people will want to be in this position. If the knee is unhinged and you're standing here, these didn't fire as much. You need to imagine, start standing tall and strong. So flex your quads, yes, your quads, drive them through the floor, and then squeeze your glutes, stand strong and tall before you squat and before you deadlift, and then imagine that is your finished position. So your finished position is not hoop, 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 grabbing on the cord, but in here, guess what? The glutes come into play. Here, here. So squat better, deadlift better. Being in better position. So my wife does more physique stuff. I've got her using the transformer bar, same thing, little bit of shoulder position. I could sit there and coach her all day long on trying to get this in better position. But as soon as we get her in better standing position right here, we do that with the transformer bar and a front load, goblet squat, whatever. We get in this position, we keep this stacked torso, and we're gonna be able to fire and extend through those glutes much more effectively.
Got it.
So,
Cool. So
and then there's a plethora of glute activation warm-ups that you can find out there. I've got a bunch actually, but best is do it better.
yeah, what was the Instagram account that would have something like that?
Kabuki_virtual coaching. So
There you go. Tons of content for you guys on there. Applied Performance Shooting wants to know what's the best way to gain hip mobility.
So
Depend on
Do
where your
it
hips
better.
are tight, right?
yeah. So if we've lost hip mobility, if you're lacking hip mobility, it means there's something that you've been doing wrong in your life or in your training. They don't naturally tighten up. Tightening is a preventative measure. Now to open those up, one is obviously look at your patterns, watch squat tutorials, things like that. The tactical frog is one of my favorite, so that can be really employed well. You can probably find that on my YouTube or on our Instagram accounts, but I could show it really quick if we wanted to do that. So, yay, yes, no? Okay.
I think so, but I don't think this camera will follow you very
Okay.
much.
It just comes back, but
Yep.
it'll be fine.
So tactical frog, you can find it on our stuff, but yeah. We'll just leave it at that.
Mike Wojo asks, what's the best way to figure out proper toe angle and foot placement? I'm assuming he's talking about for a squat, not for anything weird.
Yep. Yeah. So this is an interesting point. So a little bit of the work that I did with Smokey on the tibular rotation is really important. So if you're lacking that rotation, you're going to end up having to move the foot out wider to compensate for it. You're going to have to open that up. That's going to negatively impact the hips a little bit. So if you look at Dr. Kelly Starrett, he's always recommending this very inward position. You're going to have a high level of tibial rotation to do that. So there's going to be some variability. So what you want to do is go to the basic of that 3-point tripod rooting in those drills with the bands and see what position you're able to hold that in the depth of your squat stance, okay? Erring towards going to the inside as much as you can and still holding those positions. But wherever allows you to get that best movement. The other is just play around and see what feels better. So the hips are not completely the same all the time. Generally, not so at all. So this is an important distinction because a lot of people think that I have to have this perfect rotation with my feet. They have to be perfectly oriented front to back, exactly the same width out on each side. This is not necessarily the case. It's just like your vision. Do you have 20/20 vision? Some people do, most do not. Your hip sockets are not the same. One may be rotated further out, one may deeper than the other. So the people that are trying to force this, if you're always comfortable, it's just like one foot is slightly out and back, that may not be an issue. That might be how your hip is. So it's a matter of just play around and find where we're comfort, because trying to find perfection may actually create compensation.
So real quick, Only Deadlift wants to know, can anybody just go train at Kabuki Strength?
Yes.
There you go. And then I had another, Julian Collinson. He's having trouble keeping his elbows under the bar down in the hole. So when he comes up, it's pushing him forward. Do we have any advice for him?
Yep. So we need to work on external rotation of the shoulder. So this is this movement here. We can see Mark's a little limited. Actually, that's probably a little better than normal, isn't it?
Yep.
Yep. Why? We worked on those external rotators. So that drill I showed there, that's that's free content for us.
Right here.
Just had it here. The other one is to go into this area, the lat and the subscap. You can do that with a boomstick or a friend's thumbs or whatever, and pin this, crush this material, and then you're gonna be moving into an overhead position. I know I've done this to you before, Mark.
Yep.
That's gonna help out a lot. Another one would be with the ball in the back, and you could potentially.
Yeah, you got those little guys right there.
Yep. So if you can get one in the back of the trap, and maybe you could prop something that pushes in here in the front, or grab a partner to do that. This is what I don't want this to be a product placement, but the boomstick works the best to go in here. And then the same thing is gonna be this overhead reach.
Moving the arm around.
So we're gonna be releasing as we do that, the trap and the levator, as well. Goddamn, I can't, my brain's going for a funk with all the talking.
That's okay.
But that's gonna free up the scapula to move a little bit better. So these are all points. Try which one gives you the best release. This one has the greatest global impact on the shoulder, the release in here. This is great for overhead. I wanted to try the external rotators because I'd never done that one on Mark before. And I wanted to see him scream a little bit. We got that, so.
Yeah, it hurt. But worked. It was effective.
It works. So, but that's gonna help you get in that external rotation that you need to be able to maintain position on the squat.
Got it. Travis Riley Miller has shoulder pain and has a hard time flat benching. Any tips for him to help get out of that pain?
Shoulder pain while benching.
Yeah, on a flat bench. If only there was a nice bar that he could use, right?
There is. Yeah. But that can be tough. There's so many. The shoulder is a very complex joint. So just knowing that there's shoulder pain doesn't give us a lot to go with. A couple things to look at here. Some of the stuff that we just did. Free up that scap. It's definitely going to help. This is a great one. If you're going down on the bench and you get to the bottom and your shoulders have to roll forward to complete it, that means one, the scap isn't moving or elevating the way that it needs to, but it could also be excess tension in the pec. So going into these triggers, here, here, and here, pressing while you're in there, and then pulling, boom. You can do the overhead reach. So that's gonna clear up issues on the anterior side of the shoulder. So if you combine that together with the other advice I gave on the other side, you're gonna be able to hopefully find what's going wrong. You can also go into pec minor. Again, boomstick, active mobility ball is gonna go up under this pec, and we're gonna get into here, kind of lifting. It's a little painful. And we're gonna do, again, the same thing, pressing, pulling, overhead movements. So basically we've covered a lot of the entire shoulder complex there. I'm going through it briefly because there are videos available on all these released. But I think the internal rotational deficit is the only one on the shoulder that we've kind of missed in the discussion so far. Because I don't really have any information to go off of what that shoulder pain is.
Also, don't miss out on what he's talking about. Chris is continuing to say the same thing over and over again, which is, learn to move properly, and then we don't have to like roll around on the ball forever. Sometimes you need it. Sometimes there's some damage to the area and you need to free up that muscle tissue. But if you're benching properly, take the time. I'm imagining
Mark has some great tutorials on how to bench press. Walk through those. We've got some great stuff as well on our site. That's going to be it. We make products that actually help improve the shoulder position, Cadillac bar, Duffalo bar, things like that. So there's a lot of tools for you. to reach out to there.
I just, I remember, when I was young and I wanted to get stronger, and I didn't want to miss out on my bench session. And so I would do it regardless of how my shoulder felt. And I think that's a huge problem. Like, just scratch your program, forget about the 275 pounds that you're supposed to lift this week. Lift a weight that you can manage that doesn't hurt. I bet you can still bench press. You can probably still enjoy some bench pressing, but maybe not with the weight that you're used to. Relearn the form, make sure that's intact.
And just little things, like if you can do an incline bench with no prane, sometimes it's counterintuitive. People think it's going to be harder on the shoulder, but sometimes it actually improves torso position and stabilization of the shoulder. So, and there's a lot of things about that allows you good rooting. Like Mike O'Hearn basically only inclines, and he's never really had any pec or shoulder problems. I think that's one of the reasons. You can change it up. If dumbbells, you're also going to get a training effect from all this stuff. Go to an entirely closed chain exercise, like a push-up. I know everybody thinks they're basic. Push-ups can be incredibly effective, and being closed chain can actually improve. Sometimes the open chain, it removes some of the skill that's needed and can get you so that you're still back to training while you're figuring this out. Because I don't want that to be the answer, not train. We never say that. But it's how do we work around and still make progress with trying to figure out and fix these things.
Got it. Two people actually have this question, which I thought was pretty interesting. But Noah and Sardius, I guess when they do overhead press, like military press, they actually fill it in their traps. I thought that was interesting. But how do you think they can correct that?
I don't have an answer on that one.
Just go lighter. I mean, that's all I can think of.
I need to think about that one. It's
I don't think it's necessarily even a negative.
Not either. Necessarily.
So what? You might be building up your traps.
Yeah.
Not a big deal.
Yeah, I don't have that much experience on the overhead, so there's nothing that's really popping to mind. But it sounds like they're pulling that shoulder towards here, so the scap maybe not working correctly. Those are just some guesses. I don't really know.
So Elijah had a question about anytime he's using a barbell with overhead pressing, he's fine. But dumbbells, it's popping like crazy. Kind of doing the same shoulder like prehab stuff that you were showing earlier. That'd be fine for him too, to get rid of the pops, right?
Yeah, or just not do it with dumbbell. I mean, there's no reason that you have to choose a dumbbell. So if that's causing the issue, my simple fix would be not to do that. Another nice one to play with overhead is doing kettlebells in a bottoms up. And kettlebells bottoms up walking can be absolutely phenomenal because it's actually going to encourage. So again, if we look at some of the fixes that we did today, it was all on the spinal position. When you're walking, it forces great spinal position, and the bottoms up, so kettlebell here, handle here, can be really, really effective. It's one, you're going to have to check your ego because you're not going to be handling much weight. But man, you're going to get a workout like you wouldn't believe that's going to be really, really effective for basically everything. So that's one of my favorite training. You're training, but you're also fixing at the same time, working on stabilization issues in both the core and the shoulder. So for either of those last two, that might be a really great thing to play with.
This is a pretty cool handle. Gaines himself. He's a conventional deadlifter, wants to switch over to sumo. Is there a certain protocol that one would follow to convert over to pulling or pulling sumo?
No. So there's so many ways to go about it. It doesn't matter. If you want to keep the conventional pull in there, you can just go like pull conventional 2 weeks, then pull sumo the third week. Learning sumo, if you're struggling with the start position, start off blocks to make it a little bit easier so you can work that hinge pattern and the hip firing a little bit while you get that ingrained while you're still learning the setup and getting it off the floor. So.
Got it. Okay, last question. What's your favorite cut of steak?
Prime rib, but not in the crock pot.
It wasn't a prime rib. People get mad. Like whatever I put in a crock pot, people always get mad.
I just had my wife literally.
Roast.
So you saw my wife's cooking in there. She's like, you must give Mark a hard time about that sometime while you're down there. I said, I promise I will. So done.
I know.
I got my to-do checklist done.
Yeah, there was a bunch of comments like that. I'm like, well, people look at the price and they're like, why are you putting in a well-priced,
that's the
piece of meat in the crock pot? I think you're supposed to put cheap shit in the crock pot, but
prime rib is fucking,
prime rib is great.
Prime rib. The little horseradish on there. Nice and bloody.
You're getting excited about it.
I am.
Just talking about it.
Oh. My wife says it's funny the way I talk about food because I get so emotional.
You get
like,
revved up. It's about that time. It's about time for you to eat again.
Yeah, it's getting close to that.
Tell people where they can find you, your different handles and websites and stuff like that.
Yeah, excellent. So main company is kabukistrength.com. You can check out my personal website, christopherduffin.com, which has links to my book, as well as my other two businesses, Build Fast Formula for performance supplements and Barefoot Athletics for optimizing the human to ground interface. So check those out. And Instagram, mad_scientist_Duffin, but I'm sure you just type in Chris Duffin on that. So social, I'm pretty much active on that and LinkedIn. So
Awesome. Always good to have you here at Super Training Gym. Strength is never weakness, weakness is never strength. Catch y'all later.